Hi everyone. Today we read The Invisible Boy and we talked about making connections. And I just want to go over how to make a connection. First, we make a connection by thinking about the text and thinking about three different things. I'm going to show you that in a minute. But first, this is why we make connections. We make connections because it helps us to create pictures in our minds. When we can relate things that happen in the story to other things that we know, it helps us to picture it better. That also helps us to understand the text better. If we've had experiences or know people that have had experiences like characters in the text, then we can understand better how the characters are feeling, and it helps us relate to characters and their emotions. So there are three ways that we can make connections. The first way to make a connection is to think about text to self. And that means when you read the story and you're reading it, you're thinking about if something in your life has happened like the things that are happening in the book. So you're thinking about from The Invisible Boy, have you ever felt shy or nervous or like no one wanted to play before with you before? If you felt that, then you know how Brian felt during the story. If you felt that someone wanted to play with you and you finally had some friends and you had someone to share your interests with, then you felt like Brian at the end of the story, and that's making a text to self connection. It reminds you of something in your own life. Next, we have text to text connection. So when you're reading the story, it might remind you of another book that you've read. If it reminds you of another book that you've read because of something that's happened in the text, then that is making a text to text connection. Finally, we make text to world connections. And text to world connections are connections that when we're reading the book, it reminds us of real events that have happened in the world in the past or in the present. So things that are happening, maybe something you've seen on the news or in the newspaper. Those are things that you would make for a text to world connection. Maybe you learned about something that happened in the past and something in the story you're reading is similar. That's a text to world connection. So remember, when we make connections, we're thinking deeply about the text. We're thinking about what the text is saying and how it relates to ourselves, another story, or how it relates to the world.